began in ways so faint that most people didn't register it. A meeting missed, a voicemail unanswered, a friend suddenly hard to reach. These things happen all the time. People get busy, people drift apart. But this was different. Entire households went dark overnight. Offices were found empty in the middle of the work week, desk calendars still crammed with back-to-back appointments. A neighbor would stop by for a visit and find the door unlocked. The kettle still warm on the stove, but the house utterly abandoned. No note, no sign of panic, no explanation. It wasn't absence, it was erasure. For a while, the news treated it like background noise. Local headlines here and there about unexplained disappearances. A brief mention on late-night radio. But once the numbers swelled beyond coincidence, denial crumbled. The broadcast shifted. Greater than unprecedented vanishings spread across multiple continents. Global emergency declared as millions disappear without trace. Theories bloomed overnight. Some claimed divine wrath. Others insisted it was a tear in the fabric of the universe. The speculation became a frenzy. Alien harvest, covert experiments gone wrong, some weapon too advanced to detect. Every new explanation only deepened the confusion. I convinced myself it wouldn't touch me. These were strangers in other cities, on other continents. My own world felt intact until I went to see my sister. Her front door was slightly ajar. The TV was on, playing an old sitcom with the sound muted. A half-finished cup of coffee sat on the kitchen counter, a faint skin of cooled cream on the surface. Her shoes were lined up neatly by the door. Her purse hung on the hook. Everything was in its proper place. Sexed her. I shouted her name until my throat hurt. I tore through the rooms, flinging open closets, slamming doors, even checking the basement and attic. Nothing. The only sound was the canned laughter drifting from the living room. I stayed until the sun slid behind the horizon, refusing to accept what was obvious. But when darkness settled, the quiet pressed in so heavily I could barely breathe. I turned off the television and sat in the kitchen's half-light, listening to the hum of the fridge and the metronome tick of the wall clock. When I finally returned home, the streets felt off. The air was still but tense, like the whole city was holding its breath. It was as if something unseen had shifted the world into a slightly wrong version of itself. The vanishings escalated. Within weeks, schoolyards stood empty, stores were shuttered, parks deserted, grocery shelves went half-stocked, then bare. It wasn't only the people disappearing. Civilization itself began to falter. Power flickered on and off. Entire districts went without running water. Radio sputtered with bursts of frantic voices from stations barely clinging to life on backup generators. The rhythm of daily life collapsed. I wandered the city without aim. Abandoned cars blocked intersections. Doors banged against their frames in the wind. One afternoon, I passed an empty playground, the swings swaying gently, as if the children had just stepped away. But there was only silence. The atmosphere itself changed. The air felt heavy, almost viscous. Clouds gathered unnaturally low, their shapes warped. Sunlight turned pale and cold. Buildings cracked and crumbled at a pace that defied nature. One evening, while crossing what used to be a busy square, I noticed the streets at the edge of my vision, dissolving into a gray haze. Blocks I'd known for years now ended abruptly, fading into nothing. It was like reality itself was being peeled away. I tried to cling to memory, but even thoughts felt slippery. At night, I lay in bed staring at the cracks inching across my ceiling, listening to a faint, low hum that seemed to come from everywhere at once. The stars began to die. First, they dimmed, flickering like candles on the verge of going out. Then they winked away entirely, leaving only a black, depthless void. The earth soon followed. Sinkholes tore open without warning, swallowing neighborhoods in seconds. Rivers rerouted overnight. The ocean's tides surged and retreated with terrifying speed, leaving coastlines bare one day and obliterated the next. The hum grew louder. It wasn't just noise anymore, it was a pulse, a vibration that rattled through my bones. Sometimes, in the corner of my eye, I thought I saw figures, dark shapes, tall and thin, unmoving. They vanished whenever I turned my head. I knew I wasn't alone in seeing them. The few people I passed had the same hollow-eyed look. By that point, disappearing seemed like mercy. The city came apart. Streets ended in sheer drops into emptiness. Buildings folded in on themselves, dissolving mid-collapse. The horizon smeared into a smear of gray and static. I found myself at what had once been the highway out of town. It now ended in nothing yet, cliff into the void. I stood there for hours, watching the edges crumble. Behind me, the city dissolved into shapeless ruin. The sky fractured like glass, its shards bleeding pale light before fading away. And then silence. I can't tell if I vanished or if the world did. Maybe it makes no difference. The only thing left is the hum, steady and endless, threading through the dark. To enjoy more content, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel.